Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, DIY Nails by Wood. This month's theme is beach nails. Be sure to check my description for the other ladies participating, their links, their profiles to subscribe. First things first, I'm gonna go ahead and do a 3/4 dip of clear. And with mine, I try not to touch the sidewalls nor the cuticle of my nail, just so as you build up with the full dips of color, it doesn't make your nail wider. And I think it helps protect the shape of your nail too. And I go ahead and do this on every nail before I start. And the shininess on my nails is my nail guards. I already put my nail guards on prior to dipping. Once I do all my 3/4 of clear, I use a stiff manicure brush to brush off as much excess as I can. This helps prevent bulk, and it also helps the dip go on smooth. The better you get your application right in the beginning, the easier it's going to be to file and smooth and shape. Now on my pinky, always push those cuticles back before every full dip. And the pinky, I'm going to go ahead and do SB65 Beat You To It. And with this one, because it looks a lot like sand, I'm going to, no top coat, no clear, nothing over it. I'm just going to go ahead and do a few dips of the sand colored glitter and not touch it. So with this, I had to really shape and smooth my nail because I'm not going to be able to do much after without a clear or a top coat. But I think this is called sugaring, I'm not sure. But I just made sure that while it was wet still, I used my pick to kind of push in the sides to keep it nice and smooth because I won't be able to do much filing on it. Now on my ring finger, I'm going to be doing one dip in a milky white, Emily from Rebel. Now with my ring finger, I want it to look like those white shells that you find along the beach. And those shells, they aren't just stock white. They have milkiness, they have pinkness, they have yellowness to it. So I did one dip of Milky Emily, and then this one here is going to be Bet, also from Rebel. It has some pink undertones, and I'm layering it so that it just has a little bit of depth, it has a little bit of pinkness to it. And it's not completely opaque. And then again, I use my pick to clean around the cuticles every time. And then I'm taking turns going back and forth on nails, just bear with me. So this is going to be the final dip for my pinky because I want to leave it sandy looking. So once I'm done, I clean around the cuticles as much as I can, and then I push in on the tip and the sidewalls, and this is going to help keep it smooth without the filing. Alright, pointer finger time. So with my pointer finger, I'm going to go ahead and do a 3 ombre where it's 2 solid colors plus, you know, the sandy glitter. I'm using Rossi liquids just because I know that it is very, very slow drying. So I can take advantage of this and take my time using these 3 colors in the ombre before it dries, so it won't dry before I'm done. I didn't speed up this part so you could see how meticulous I am when applying the liquids. Now with 3 color ombres, I like to start right in the middle, just so it has something in the middle. So if you didn't start in the middle, the other colors could possibly overwhelm the middle and then it won't show up as well. So I'm going to start off with the middle, and then I'm going to go ahead and do, this is Ocean Water Glow, and the middle is Oh Hey Vacay. I'm going to point my finger down and do the dark blue, and then point my finger up, and then I'm going to add the sand. Now my goal is for it to look like a sandy beach. You have the shallow water that's a light blue, and then as you go further out into the ocean, the water gets darker. And also for my nails this month, instead of being so literal, like drawing the ocean or painting the ocean like I had been, I wanted it to be more of like an artsy interpretation. So I'm going to be using beach colors. I'm going to try and make it look, as I said, like the beach, shallow water, deep water, because I wanted it to look more like a manicure set with a little bit of a beach theme. And then again, your interpretation of the art. And again, this is my second pass for the ombre, so this time I'm going to start with the outer colors of the 3 color ombre, the alternating method, which I've shown before in past videos I have of ombre. And And as you can see, the color, the transition between the light blue and the dark blue is already looking really good. Then I add a little bit more of my sandy glitter. And this one I am going to do, I know I said I didn't want to do clear or a top coat over the sandy color, but because it's an ombre, I am going to do clear over it later.
Mama,
honey, sorry. It's my daughter. And underneath, I don't like it when it gets bulky, so while it's still wet, I go ahead and try and clean up, and it's less I have to do later.
My butt don't get.
Honey, okay. And then just personally, I'm adding a little bit more sand because it was a little bit sheer, and you see how it's really nice and level and just looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to push my cuticles back, of course, and I'm going to cover my ring finger and my pointer in clear so that I can go ahead and be done with those nails for now before I forget. Apply the liquid slowly, and if I'm not sure, I don't think I mentioned earlier that I start with the brush right before the cuticle so I can push it towards the cuticle and cause the brush to fan out into the natural curve shape of your cuticle, and it helps the liquid to be placed a little bit cleaner and neater. And that way the clear is on there so well that I actually don't have to clean around my cuticle. When normally, as you can tell, I do it every time. This one I had to. It wasn't nearly as neat as the pointer. So once the clear's on, I'm going to go ahead and solidify. I didn't brush the clear off because it was just so wet still. There was no need. Alright, now we are going to move on to the middle finger. I actually cleaned out my tray and I put the Milky White Emily from Rebel in the tray. Just so we're not confused. It's not another dip of clear. And at this point, my finger is a little red and my nail is a little discolored because off camera, well, I've done this nail 3 times at this point. A lot of deleted video. So we're gonna do 1 dip of the Milky White. Clean around those cuticles. Now I'm going to use my pick in the white to draw grooves. And what I want is the grooves to hold the other colors to make a marble. This is how I do my marble nails. Using tweezers, I pick up a little bit of each color and I drop the color into those grooves. And the purpose of this is when I level it at the end by tapping the tray, I know that some of that blue is deeper in there. And I'm going to clean off my tweezers and then I go ahead and grab in a little bit of another color. And I put those in the grooves as well. Clean off my tweezers. I'm going to use my pick to kind of trace through it, just so I get a little bit of white in between the blue colors. Now I grab a little bit of my sandy glitter. I gotta clean off my tweezers. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drop a little bit of the sandy color in between the 2 different blues, just to kind of give it a little bit of that flare, and it's gonna help match the other nails. And then I tap to make it even. And then I'm gonna trace a little bit more just to disperse it. Actually, I probably should have traced even more. The final result is not as marbly as I normally like, but I think it looks good. I was trying to go for like a tide pool waves representation.
How do you do that?
My daughter's watching with me as I edit. So what I'm gonna do for marble, so I do the 1 dip of white, and then the final dip, I'm just gonna lay it as flat as I can on top of all the colors, just so it gets completely covered. I'm gonna clean around the cuticles, and like I said, it's not as marbly as I would have liked, but it's art. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I going to go ahead and file my ring and my pointer. I use my buffer block in a curved motion, and then I use my glass file to go around my cuticle, again in a curved, rounded motion. And if you can tell, it really smooths the lines of your nail going around the cuticles. And then I file the sidewalls and underneath the nail, and then the very tip of the nail, trying to keep the file as horizontal as possible so you don't get a misshapen nail. I use my mani brush to brush off as much excess as I can. And now for my ring finger, I'm going to go ahead and use gel, just a gel top coat. I left my ring finger a little rough so the gel can stick onto it, and I'm going to draw little lines because the white shells that you find on a beach, they have little lines and grooves on them. So as I do these lines, just to give it a little bit of texture, I'm going to go ahead and use this Pearl Chrome from Sparkle & Co. as well, and I'm going to undercure and rub it on so that not only will it have a different texture, the lighting's going to hit it and you'll see the different colorations, because I'm only going to be doing the chrome on the grooves, and underneath will still be the creamy milky white. So I undercured for about 20 seconds, and then I'm going to go ahead and start rubbing on the chrome. And you can already tell from my little light ring that you can see the chrome.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
Like I do your nails.
Let me like those in that.
Pearl Chrome. Now, once I'm done, I brush off the excess. I brush off the excess, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go over it again. So this helps build those grooves up higher and higher, personal preference. And then I fully cure. Now the thumb, I'm just gonna dip as I did the pinky. So this will be a little sped up because you've already seen it. And I'm just gonna keep the thumb the same as the pinky. A little consistency in my mani as my last ones. I've had like every nail different. Now, as I said, because I'm not doing a top coat or clear dip over, I'm going to clean around. I couldn't find my black pick, so I'm using my floss pick. And very important to get the shape as smooth as possible because I'm not doing anything on top of it. And I found it really easy to, while the dip is still wet and movable, that you can manipulate it a little bit. And that's how you see me kind of pressing the tip of my nail a little bit with the pick. I also have the bloopers from when I redid my middle finger 3 times and my husband tried to help me. So if anyone ever wants to see the bloopers, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and apply a clear dip over my supposed marble nails. It's beautiful, but I'm going to do the clean around the cuticles, and then I'm going to get ready to activate so that I can file. And activate that thumb because that thumb's done. I was telling the ladies from the YouTube collab that my middle finger kind of reminds me of that striped gum with the zebra. Now, again, I'm going to go ahead and start filing in a curved motion on the surface of the nail, and then go in with my glass file and go around the cuticle in that curved motion, and it helps to smooth, thin, you don't get chips in it. I think this helps with lifting too because you don't have any thick parts around that cuticle. And again, I try and get the sidewalls as well as slightly underneath the sidewalls of the nail. And then when I do the tip, I normally try and just hold my finger still and do the file horizontal. Now for the middle finger, I wanted to add seashells, but I didn't want to encapsulate and clear this time because I didn't want it to get bulky because I already have the marble and the dip underneath. So I'm going to apply gel, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply the shells, so it'll be almost like a 3D design. And I've never done this before prior to this video, so I was kind of wondering how it would be applying them. I'm going to go ahead and grab the little shells out of the cap because the bigger ones were not working. I didn't think you guys needed to see me struggle. So I'm going to use my little pick and apply them individually, and I was kind of wondering how to apply, how it would best look. And I realized the little stripes across my nail with the different colors, it might look cute to do them in the straight horizontal lines on the colors. And with the gel, I could actually move the shells and manipulate them because it's not cured yet. And then I try and push them down a little hard so that they're anchored into the gel. And the good thing about gel too is if you move it around, it settles back smooth. I might do this method a little bit more now because it worked so well. Then once I get the shells placed, I've fully cured. And with my pointer finger, I'm going to go ahead and apply a gel top coat, pushing those cuticles back, just because I don't want my cuticles getting trapped in that gel. Uncomfortable. And I apply the gel just like I would the base liquid. And I just try and make sure it's long, smooth, even layers. Even strokes. capping those free edges. And I'm going to do this, I made sure I do this on the pointer because I think at this point my other nails are done. And this is the final result. Everything is done. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching.